Well, hello there, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to Cupid. Well, if you remember what happened in the previous episode, then, well, I hope you forget about it. Because, because it was worth forgetting after all, I guess. Well, first of all, we need to kill the guy. Let's see if that will be possible. Rosa stood in front of the door to Catherine's room, her hand raised to knock, but she didn't move. Doubt was creeping to her mind like a spider crawling on a wall. She remembered the feeling of hunger from the night they had kissed. It was both familiar and utterly alien-like an instinct and urge she hadn't felt for a long time. A shiver ran down her spine at the memory. She's avoiding me, isn't she? She hadn't seen Catherine for a few days since that night. But that's not the reason. She had been spending a lot of her time alone, locked away in her room. Well, there is another reason for that. Whenever Rosa saw her in that chateau, she would excuse herself and leave. Rosa never got the courage to push the issue. But days had passed, and Catherine's behavior began to worry her even more. She's selfish, just like everyone. Okay. I don't like any of those. So, she's selfish or repulsed? No, I guess selfish. What do you expect? She's selfish just like everybody else. She used you as an experiment. Now that her curiosity is sated, she's done with you. You don't matter to her. You probably never did. Which is a good thing, darling. You see her true face. No matter. Come on. I don't like playing that role of a bad mother, of a terrible mother, of the worst mother, worst. She's never going to love you like mother does. Okay, that mother sucks. She's not a loving one. She's an annoying one. Like all the others, she's going to leave you in the end, and then you are all alone. Only mother will stay with you forever and love you. So be a good giant and listen to what I tell you. Rose bit her lower lip. This was all her fault, wasn't it? No, she needed to make it right. Rosa, no! If Rosa talked to her properly, she was sure they would come to an understanding. She had to explain to her. What exactly? They had both been drunk, and the kisses didn't mean anything. Her stomach churned at this thought. In the end, it didn't matter what Rosa wanted. Catherine obviously regretted what had happened. She didn't want to lose her friend because of too much wine. Rosa gently knocked on Catherine's door. Catherine, may I come in? Please, Catherine, I'm sorry for the mess, but can we talk? Rosa waited for an answer. None came. Rosa turned the handle slowly and entered. Usually Catherine's room was brightly lit. The windows let in fresh breeze, often carrying the sweet smell of flowers in spring. Right now, however, the curtains were drawn closed. The few candles burning on the desk weren't enough to banish the darkness completely. The air hung heavy in the room. Catherine didn't turn around when the door opened. She just stood there, unmoving, in front of a wall. The sound of something scratching along a rough surface filled the air. What is she doing? Rosa felt a shiver run down her spine at this sound, and her muscles tensed instinctively. I had the same feeling right now, seriously. She approached Catherine slowly and apprehensively. No, don't do this. When she came closer, she could hear that Catherine was whispering the same few words over and over again. "He loves me. He loves me not." Catherine giggled. "He loves me. He loves me not." "Catherine, are you alright?" Rosa stepped next to Catherine and peered at her outstretched hand. In the dim light, it took a moment for her to make sense of what she saw. What the fuck? Catherine was scratching at the wall? The damage she had done to the wall was nothing compared to what she had done to her fingers. They were dripping with blood from where her skin was cracked and peeled back. Calf? Oh my god, Catherine, stop! Rosa's guts twisted horribly. She grabbed Catherine's shoulder to turn her around, away from the wall. She blinked a couple of times before finally reacting to Rosa's presence. Tears welled up in Catherine's bloodshot eyes at the sight of her friend, spilling over her pale cheeks and chapped lips. She held on tightly to Rosa and started sobbing uncontrollably. "Kath, what's going on? Why are you hurting yourself?" Catherine tried to pull herself together as best she could, wiping her nose on the sleeve of her bloody dress. It was heart-wrenching to look at the mess that her friend had become. "Rosa, you need to help me. You need to protect me from him. Don't let him touch me." "Who? Let him what? Why do you need me to protect you?" Suddenly Catherine shushed her, a finger to her lips, and with a scared expression on her face. She leaned an ear towards the door and listened intensely for a moment. "Oh, he's here." The scared expression turned into maniac and frightening glee. "I think he's coming. Julem, honey. Julem, I love you." After yelling the last words, Catherine started sobbing again, with more tears streaming down her face. Before Rosa could try to console her, however, her sobs faded into hysterical laughter. It barely left time for her to gasp her breath. "Julem, I love the way you pull me close to hug me. And how kind you are to everyone you meet. And your eyes. "What's going on here?" Julem stood in the door frowning. His eyes wandered across the room and caught sight of Catherine. His face froze in shock. Catherine stared wide-eyed for a second, then she snarled at him like a ferocious animal. "You bastard, get out of my room! Get lost!" She stormed over to the desk and grabbed a letter opener from the table. With this weapon in a firm grip and moonlight in her eyes, she rushed to Julem. "Don't you dare show your face to me!" "Catherine, no!" The knife plunged into Julem's arm. Blood quickly stained his sleeve red, but Catherine only recoiled to strike back, with no hint of stopping. "Oh my god! Catherine!" They wrestled for a moment until Julem was able to grab Catherine's hand. She dropped the letter opener and slammed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Rosa quickly picked up the blade and stepped out of reach. When she turned around again, Julem had already pulled Catherine into a tight embrace. Between her sobs and hiccups, Rosa could hear her apologizing. "Oh my god, I'm sorry, Julem. What? I'm sorry, do you love me? Please, Julem, do you love me?" She repeated the question over and over again, no matter how many times Julem reassured her. It was probably a good idea to find something to calm her down. No, it was probably a good idea to stab him in the neck now. Sorry, but, well, that's just some idea I'm giving to Rosa. Rosa didn't feel completely at ease doing so, but she left her friend alone with the Marquise for a few minutes. Later she turned with a glass of water laced with valerian root. Julem had already coaxed Catherine to lie down on her bed, while Rosa helped her drink the nightcap. They watched her in silence as she drifted in a fitful sleep. Julem and Rosa left the room. They didn't speak for a while, both still dazed and shocked by the turn of events. "How is your arm?" Julem hid the injured arm away from view. "Fine. Just a scratch." The bleeding hadn't stopped. Rosa could tell the cut was deeper than Julem let on. "What is happening? What has gotten Catherine?" Julian just shrugged with a cold expression of worry on his face. I wish I knew, Rosa. The state she's in scares me too, to be honest. It might be an onset of an episode waiting to happen. No, it's just because of what you've done to her. I like her sister before. Rosa's mouth tightened. How dare you say that? She's not crazy. Rosa searched his face for traces of a lie, but it was like a mask contorted by worry. She couldn't tell whether he was lying or telling the truth. She asked me to protect her from you. Did you hurt her? You know I wouldn't. She's unwell. It seems I am the target of her psychotic state. That is all I know. But why? Stop. Stop it, Rosa. It hurts me to seeing her like this. Bullshit! Please stop questioning me further. Don't! I'm going to call for a physician. Well, how about you kill yourself? Please stay with her in the meantime. See that she doesn't harm herself again. For a moment he met in her eyes. Before she could say more, however, he turned around and left. See if his pants have caught fire yet, child. There was nothing she could do about him for now. Rosa left to get a bowl of fresh water and a towel to tend to Catherine's fingers. Catherine had an uneasy sleep with, while Rosa cleaned her wounds, as best as she could. She muttered, squealed, and whimpered like a child. It seemed that she was having a nightmare, but Rosa didn't dare wake her before the physician arrived. Instead, she stroked her hair, told her that everything would be alright. She tried to appease the growing confusion of voices in her head. What had happened between Catherine and Julien? Their relationship was often erratic, but Rosa dismissed the possibility that this was one of their usual fights. Rosa remembered Catherine's face, filled with utter spite and demand. She had never seen that much hatred in Catherine. After a few minutes, Catherine's eyelids fluttered open. She looked around with some confusion, then her gaze settled on Rosa. Tears welled up in her eyes. Rosa. Rosa held her outstretched hand. Her heart broke when she saw Catherine wince. Rosa, I'm so scared. Everything is such a mess. It's going to be alright, Cat. Don't worry now. Just try to sleep some more. No, you don't understand. Catherine tried to sit up, but Rosa pushed her down gently. You need rest, Kath. I hate him. This is all his fault. She sniffed, but settled down on her pillow once more. When she spoke again, it was in a whisper. Rosa. She chewed on her dry, chapped lips for a moment, as if she couldn't get the words out. I don't think I love him anymore. What? A dry sob escaped her, followed by tears rolling down her cheeks. Had Catherine really just said that? But I don't understand this. When I think of him, Her voice cracked. She shuddered under the blanket like an ill breeze had just sprung up in the room. It's like bugs are crawling under my skin. I can't bear to look at him anymore. I just can't. I can't even say his name. Why, do you remember when exactly you started feeling this way? That night. Rosa winced. Catherine covered her face with her hands. It was a horrible night. Rosa's chest hurt. Was this her fault? She didn't know what she had done, but didn't she do something to her? I'm sorry. Catherine went on like she hadn't hurt her. I went to his room. We spent the night together. Rosa waited for Catherine to continue, but the girl stared blankly. She just stopped speaking, as if forgetting she ever spoke at all. Kath, did he hurt you that night? No. Maybe. Catherine shook her head. I don't know. She grabbed her head and sobbed. The grip on Rosa's heart tightened. How can this be? Her eyes drowned in tears. I love him, Rosa, don't I? What? But you just said you don't. Remember everything. Love him, I know I do. What? Oh, come on. I'm sure I do. Okay. But I came to the very core. Well, so what? Well, it's easy. Give up on him. I guess. I think. Isn't this the best option? I want to hurt him and punish him. For something. I want to snuff out the breath from his throat. But sometimes Catherine's eyes went blank. I just don't care for him at all. Sometimes I feel nothing. Nothing at all. And that scares me more. She laid on the bed, quiet now, letting the tears flow out of her eyes without wiping them. I'm going mad, Rosa. Catherine. I am, aren't I? Like my sister. Like my mother. It runs in our blood. They said I am child of a mad woman. They said I'm going to turn out exactly like her. Rosa stroked her hair and tried her best to soothe her, saying that everything would be alright. They were empty words, but she didn't know what else to say. She wanted them to be true so badly, for her friend's sake as well as her own. Was Julem really the cause of Catherine's confusion and pain? Yes. Pangs of guilt pricked her like tiny needles. Or was this her fault? Rubbish, you fool. This is all his fault, I can feel it. We must get to the bottom of this. Yeah, mother. Rosa looked down at her best friend and nodded slightly to herself. Everything will be alright, Catherine, I promise. She would make it alright somehow. She had to. The physician arrived shortly, but he did little to help Catherine. She never regained her personality. She remained moody and irritable, breaking out into fits of hysterical laughter or heartbreaking sobs at seemingly random intervals. Julem and Rosa would take turns to tend to her. Her moods fluctuated, her temper uncontrollable. There were times she begged for attention from Julem, almost clinging to him in despair, never letting him out of her sight. Other times she couldn't stand his very presence. Soon neither Julem or Rosa could console her anymore. She withdrew entirely from the household. She starved herself, stopped coming to the meals, stopped caring for herself. Her manic episodes degraded long stretches of blank silence. Emptiness ruled her life. Looking at her eyes in those last days, it was like a fire had been snuffed out behind them. Like the star that had been shining through them had imploded. Well, I guess this is a good moment actually to end the episode. Hope you enjoyed. However, wow, that story is getting more and more sad, I guess. I thought the, situations in the beginning actually were terrible, but I feel like this is worse, kind of. Okay, let's end this here, and I see you in the next episode. Bye.